Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video today. I got my John Deere 55V, brand new, well, I guess not new, but new to me. This thing hasn't, I don't think this thing's done a whole lot of cutting in its life, like, ever. So, we're gonna do some carburetor work to her, see if we can't figure out what's stopping her from running. First thing we gotta do, take off these two bolts, get that out, and that way the carburetor isn't in there anymore. There we go. So next we got to get the fuel lines off. Two fuel lines, one there, one here, and one there. So we got to get both of them off. So this, there is getting, that's wet, like some gas just came out. So now I know fuel is getting to the carburetor. So that's a good sign. To make this easier on myself, we're going to drain the fuel. Let's see what kind of fuel we get out of here. That actually isn't too bad at all, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It's 32-1 in there. Main reason I did that is because when I was taking that fuel line off, it was spraying fuel everywhere. So I figured if I drain the tank, it'll just spray out a little bit, and then it should be done spraying. So let's get that off. There we go. One fuel line off. Two. All right, we just got the carburetor off, and there's definitely a lot of dirt down in there. And the cylinder, let me get a pen light real quick. All right. So I guess it's kind of hard for you guys to see down in there. Hold on, let me. So as you can see, this has a sideways mounted engine. Piston moves from end to end instead of up and down. So you can kind of see the piston itself doesn't look very bad at all. See the crank or the connecting rod a little bit too. All right, let's throw this thing aside for a while. And let's focus on our carb. So this has a Walbro carburetor. So let's get in it. Let's see how she is. First thing I'm noticing is it looks like somebody might have been in this carburetor at one point in time. Maybe rebuilt it or something, because I don't know if that's a diaphragm or a gasket. I can't tell, but it's sticking out of there. It shouldn't be. So let's tear apart that end first and see what we got going on there. Alright guys, so I'm sorry I messed up the first few clips. That's my fault. I had the camera wrong. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing yet when it comes to filming. Jeez. That is a very tiny screw that we cannot lose. It'd be easier if I had a shorter screwdriver. This is working, I guess. There we go. So I cannot lose these 4 screws. Alright, let's get that off. Let's see what we got going on. So that diaphragm, it's really looking messed up. So that should not be anything like that. That's real messed up. Look at this diaphragm. I'd say I could very possibly be a main part of our problem. So let's get that diaphragm off of there. Alright, so let's pull that diaphragm off. Hate diaphragms. Small carburetors. Hate working with them. So that diaphragm, yeah, that's real messed up. I mean, look at the other side. That's barely, I don't know. I'm almost wondering if somebody bought a very cheap rebuild kit. We're gonna have to pull that off and get that on the way it's supposed to be, and hope we don't rip anything. All right, that's messed up. There. All right, so let's look. See, we got our float right there. The float looks to be fine. See, it's not sticking. I'm sorry for camera quality too. That's kind of bad. I think it's because of my lights, but it's not sticking. It's going up and down. It's doing its job. It's good. But if you look at the screws, that's hard to see. Hold on. If you look at the screws, they're almost a little bit stripped, kind of like somebody's been in here and was messing with them. So we'll pull them out and see what's going on there. I was going to pull them off, but I couldn't find a screwdriver that fit quite right, and I don't want to risk stripping them any worse. So, but yeah, see the float, it's doing its job. It's doing what it's supposed to, I think. Looks fine to me. Kind of a little weird, I don't know. That should be fine though. So, I had to pull the diaphragm apart. See, that's like hanging off there halfway. That's not good. That's supposed to be flush down on the gasket. Or on the diaphragm. But it's messed up a little bit. It's not how it's supposed to be. Alright, off camera I went and I put that back on the way it's supposed to be. I'm hoping it'll work. I don't know. Honestly, there's a chance that this carburetor needs a rebuild kit. That diaphragm might just be junk. But let's get in here, see what's going on, see what we got going on in there. So, it actually looks really clean. Like, I don't think there's anything. I'm thinking that that diaphragm being messed up might have been what was stopping this thing from running. Because that looks fine. That screen in there looks clean. So, I'm going to spray a little carb cleaner through this thing and see if it's, actually getting into the carburetor and going through. And then I think I might just honestly put it back on and see what happens. Alright, so everything's running through it fine. So honestly, I think I'm going to go ahead and put this back on my saw and see what happens. Can't get this stupid door to stay shut. Alright, I just got everything hooked back up. Now I got to get my... Alright. Okay. That works. That works. So let's go ahead, let's throw our fuel back in here, see what happens. Alright, let's wipe that off before it messes up my paint. Grab a rag. There we go. Back on there. Let's see what happens. Alright, now I just got to start on ether, but it won't start again, so. I'm wondering if my coil might be junk, and it'll start it sometimes, and then it'll break down the spark. So, let's take this off, and that's kind of loose. Didn't expect that to actually come off there. So, I don't know. Spark plug looks a little wet. Smells a little wet. So let's see. Put it right there. See if you can. It's getting dark. I don't know what her problem is. I think I might end up getting a rebuild kit for my carb. Because she don't want to run. That actually kind of surprised me. All smoky in here now. I didn't expect that to start. Because it didn't want to for a while. There's a little bit of ether down in there. Let's take it outside, see if it won't start again. Ew, it's wet out here. Nope, now she died. What the heck? It's choking. No. Shouldn't have shut it off. It's being weird. I think I might get a rebuild kit for my carburetor, see what happens then. But I mean, got it to start. That was very surprising. Thank you guys for watching Bolt&Beyond. Peace out.